Sienna, like, what's going on? I noticed right away when I got here that you're pregnant, and considering what happened on prom night, I have to ask the question, like, if this child is mine. The truth is, hi everyone, it's Catchy, aka OBiGem. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, the notification bell to be notified of all future videos. And if you like what you see, please do hit the like button so I know to keep making content just like this. So we're back with another episode of Not So Berry, and we are here in the Everberry household with Nora. She is doing some cleaning. She got up pretty early because the birthday dinner with Sienna was just a huge bombshell for her, and it put a whole lot on her mind, and she wants to try and clear it ahead of, everything. So she's over here vacuuming and trying to think, like, what is my daughter doing? What did she do to her life? Like, I need to sit down with her and have just a her and me conversation, because she didn't really get to have like a huge heart-to-heart with Sienna at the dinner. Sienna just kind of dropped the bomb that, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm engaged and I'm getting married, all in one blow, and gave none of them really any time to process it. Like, Nora did pull her aside, like, after, all the dust settled and the dinner was coming to end. They took some birthday selfies, and Sienna took a birthday selfie with her mom, and she kind of like talked to her a bit and said, look, your dad is over here trying to blow sunshine and rainbows up your behind, but none of this is copacetic with me, for me, and I need for you to understand that this is not okay, and I need to know where your head's at. So it's pretty early in the morning. Nora's gonna go ahead and keep getting her day started, but she's planning on calling Sienna up because today Sienna is getting married. Today's the wedding. And she's like, look, I don't have a whole lot of time here. This girl got engaged and pregnant and married in all one foul swoop. So I'm just going to give her my 2 cents before this wedding happens, and then just let my piece be known, just so that I can give my daughter some sort of direction, just to make sure that she's really going the way that she really wants to go, because I all this sounds crazy to me. It just seems like she's throwing all of her plans to the wayside, and I'm just not here for it. So I'm going to let Miss Nora get ready for the day, and she's going to call up Sienna, and they're going to have breakfast together so that she can give her 2 cents. So Nora invited Sienna out to the Garden restaurant. If you guys watched Mid-Gen, you'll remember that they went to this restaurant during the mid-finale, and we had a lot of tea that was dropped. But they are back at this restaurant for a breakfast date with mother-daughter, and Nora's really wanting to just kind of get into Sienna's head and figure out what's going on. So she's going to start out pleasant. She's like, honey, how are you? How are you feeling? How has the pregnancy been treating you? And Sienna's like, I'm fine, Mom, just, typical nauseousness from being pregnant, but I should be fine. I'm mostly just, excited to get married today. And she's like, that's great. You look good, but, I do want to discuss with you some of the things that you dropped on us yesterday. And Sienna was kind of bracing herself for this. She's like, I kind of knew Mom was going to tear into me. And she looks so pretty. Look how pretty she looks today. Oh my gosh. Also, I do want to take note that mother-daughter did show up wearing like little rompers and whatnot today. So cute. Mother-daughter's thinking alike. She's like, yeah, I kind of knew Mom was gonna do this. She seemed kind of upset yesterday. Dad was kind of easy to smooth over, because, Sienna's a little daddy's girl. So, like, Glade's always going to be super doting and super protective and super, it's okay, baby, we'll figure this out. But Nora's not that way. It's interesting the type of mother Nora has been, because Nora's a little bit self-absorbed, she's been like a Instagram star this whole time, just thinking about herself. And so she's kind of been like a little bit hands off with parenting, but she's still kind of like really stern with Sienna, because she kind of like sees herself through Sienna and is like, look, I want my daughter to do everything that I wasn't able to do, which is why she was so excited when she found out that Sienna wanted to go to Sam Shuna. She's like, oh, well, that was my dream when I was wanting to be an aspiring model. But like now it just seems like she's blowing her life up, and I can't stand back and be, you know, a hands-off parent about this. I have to talk with her. So she's like, you know, honey, when you told us that you were pregnant, that was kind of a shock. I thought you wanted to go to the big city and become a politician. You had so many dreams and things you want to achieve, and it just seems like you're throwing all of that away right now. And Sienna's like really not trying to hear her mom shut down what she already decided on with Andre. So she's like, Mom, like, I'm not throwing my life away or my dreams away. My dreams have just changed is all. Like, I'm getting married. I love Andre. We're going to have a life together. I'm going to support him becoming a politician. Like, you'll see, like, this is going to work out. Like, just like you had to change your plans when you got pregnant with me, when you and Dad were first together. Like, I don't really see how this is really that different, Mom. Like, you ended up changing your plans, and look how things worked out for you. You're a huge Instagram star. You're a proper celebrity. Like, all your wildest dreams came true, and you know, nobody was on your behind about how you didn't get to go to Sam Shuna and become, you know, a high fashion model. So I just don't understand why you're pressing me on this. So Nora's looking at Sienna and thinking, like, I'm just going to have to get real with this girl and just explain exactly what happened with her dad and I. And so she understands where I'm coming from when I'm telling her that I want her to chase her dreams and not give up on them just because she got pregnant by some guy she's known for 2 seconds. So, you know, she got that face on like, girl, let me tell you about yourself right now. So Nora first starts out by saying, like, look, Sienna, when I had big dreams of being a high fashion model and Sam Shuna, I didn't have a plan. I just thought, hey, maybe I can somehow save money up and, you know, move to the big city and then somehow make it happen. But I didn't have a plan like you. You had a plan since you were a little kid. You had this plan that you were going to go to Sam Shuna. You were going to do your internship. You were going to, you know, be mentored by a politician, work your way up through the ranks, and achieve your dreams. That's a real plan. I didn't have that when I was wanting to go to the Sam Shuna. Who knows if I it had even panned out for me getting a high fashion model contract, I could have ended up nowhere. What happened with you and your dad was, obviously I couldn't go to Sam Shuna anymore because I was pregnant with you. So I had to change my plan. And with your dad, I was able to come up with like a real concrete plan. And that real concrete plan resulted in me becoming a Instagram star. Now I'm somewhere greater than I ever could have been if I had gone to Sam Shuna to become a high fashion model. Like, none of that would have happened. I wasn't thinking with a clear head with a plan. You're different than I was. You knew exactly from when you were a little girl what you wanted to do, and we were all behind you on this plan. That's the difference. And so now that she's explained it to Sienna's like, well, I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, I mean, I already kind of decided on this. The train's already moving towards me marrying Andre and me supporting him. So like, what am I supposed to do now? I'm already pregnant. I don't see how I can still achieve the same plans that I had wanted before. So now Sienna's starting to have seeds of doubt planted in her mind. She's like, oh my gosh, like, what am I really doing? Is this a good idea? And Nora's looking at her like, Sienna, look, if what you decided with Andre is really what you want to do, then of course me and your dad are going to stand behind you 100%. We love you. We want you to be happy. And if that's what's going to make you happy, then we're all for it. But if there's even a single bit of doubt in your mind that this is not what you want, I'm telling you right now, do not marry that man. Like, there is still options you have on the table for you to still achieve the same things. Obviously, things are going to be a bit more difficult now because you're pregnant and with child. But look, if you still want to go to university and you still want to go this track of becoming a politician, your dad and I will support you. We'll help you with the baby. And if you still want to go to university, we can find a way as far as us watching the baby till you're done with school. And then, you know, you could still kind of go the same track. It's going to be a little bit different because you're going to have to now juggle having a child. But, you know, you're not closed off from that path you want. Well, meanwhile, Mom, that sounds amazing, but I mean, at the same time, I'm still getting married. I have a wedding today. Like, I mean, I can't just close the door on that, can I? And, you know, Nora's like, look, honey, if you love that man, marry him. Do what you think is right in the situation. But at the end of the day, if you have even the slightest bit of doubt that he's not the one, then you don't have to marry him just because you have a child together. So all of this has given Sienna quite a bit to think about. Cause she's like, I went into this whole thing thinking I was going to marry Andre and we're going to have a happily ever after. We're going to have our child together and I'm going to get married to him. But you know, after hearing what my mom has to say, I just don't know. And that's also reminding her that, hey, like at the end of the day, I don't actually even know if Andre's the father of my child. What if I marry Andre and it turns out that the baby is Julian's? Like, what's that going to look like? What am I going to do with that? Like, are we going to even still be able to be a happy family if the baby isn't even Andre's? And, you know, I feel strongly for Andre, but at the same time, like, really, what is even love at this point? What even is love? You know, Sienna has a whole swirl of doubt going on in her head, and she just, you know, she doesn't know what to do. All she's thinking is like, well, I'm already on this track right now. Maybe I need to just go through with this. So she's like, you know, Mom, thank you for giving me your food for thought. Like, I would really appreciate it if you would help me with my hair before the wedding. She's like, oh, sure, no problem. You know, what do you need? She's like, you know, I just want to make sure it's pretty straight for the wedding. You know, I've been straightening it lately because Andre likes it that way. And she's like, honey, I can do that. But, you know, you have naturally curly hair. If you keep straightening it like this, you're going to fry it. She's like, Mom, I know, but, you know, Andre likes it this way. So, like, you'll help me, right? And she's like, I guess so. I will, honey. But, you know, whatever you need, you and your, you know, me and your daughter are here for you. And she's like, you know, Mom, you are the greatest. I love you. So, oh, she's getting a little choked up. That's cute. But I'm going to go ahead and let them finish their breakfast. We'll probably reconvene at the wedding. So, you know, hold tight for that. So it is a wedding time and Sienna is all decked out for her wedding to Andre. But as you can see, she is not really feeling it. Miss Nora certainly sowed plenty of seeds of doubt in her head, and it kind of made it worse when she got back home. She checked her admission status for uni, and she got into the school she wanted to go to, and she got all the scholarships that she applied for. So she's like, I don't know, like, how to feel about this. Like, I was so excited to go to university. I got into the distinguished program that I applied to. I got all the scholarships I wanted. But me and Andre kind of made this plan where I'm going to have to put all that off, have this baby, support him in his politics career, and I just don't know how this is all going to work out. And she's kind of she's not feeling the way you're supposed to feel on your wedding day. That's for certain. So, even though we are having a major clipping issue, like, really, Frederick, you had to be standing right here when she goes in to hug her fiance. Okay, sure. But she went in to hug her fiance, just pretend that Frederick is not there. She's all like, hi Andre, like, it's so nice to see you. And he's like, of course, like, we're getting married, can you believe it? And she's like, no, like, this is crazy. And he's like, look, everything's gonna go just fine. We're gonna get married, and then after that, we'll just go straight onto the campaign trail, running on this family values ticket, and we're just gonna look like the perfect little family. It's gonna be great. And she's all like, you know, if you say so, Andre, I'm gonna just trust in you. He's like, it'll be great, Sienna. Just, you know, do what you're supposed to do as far as, you know, looking lovey-dovey and excited. He is looking so irritated because I think Andre is really kind of stressed about this wedding needs to go well. I've already kind of talked to some press people about this whole thing. Oh shoot, did y'all see that? It's not went from being open to close. That's creepy. Anyway, he's like, I already talked to some press people, told them about this whole thing. It all needs to go well. I'm counting on some reporters showing up at this event. That's kind of like, because Andre kind of picked this venue. As you can see, we're in San Myshuno Meadows Park. I did replace that lot with this whole shebang. So, yeah, he was able to get this, rent this space out for relatively cheap. And he's like, I notified the press. There should be reporters here to take pictures. Everything needs to go perfect because, as long as we have like the perfect wedding and perfect wedding pictures to go with, the news articles for this, my politics career can just take off like a rocket from this. So this needs to go well. Otherwise, I've got a lot of writing on this. So he's really kind of like on edge. Plus, there's also the fact that he still is a little bit irritated that Sienna came to him and told him that she's pregnant after, they've only been together for a short time, because he's like, I can't believe this. I'm not really ready to be a father, but I sure can use this to pump up my career. So, a little messed up, but that is how Andre decided to take everything. Meanwhile, Sienna's taking everything in stride, and she's actually just like being at this wedding venue. She thought, maybe I'll see Andre and it'll all click. But now she's seeing his face and like how irritated on edge. She's like, this isn't what I was expecting. I'm already having doubts about whether I'm making the right decision. I was hoping I would come here to the wedding and see his face, see how in love with me he is and how much he wants to be with me, with this wedding. And he's over here giving me, the screw face, being all angry. And this is not reassuring for me. Like, this, you're supposed to be the man I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with right now, and it just seems like your mind's a million miles away, and I don't know how to feel about that. So none of this is helping Sienna feel secure in her decision to backburner her plans to prop up Andre and their budding family. So Sienna gave Andre a kiss. She's like, calm down, everything's gonna work out. And he's like, I know, but maybe hold off on the kisses and all of that stuff till the press gets here, because they'll want pictures of that, and definitely not helping Andre. Like, come on. Aww. So Andre gave her a kiss. He's all like, I hope the cameras caught that. And he's like, but honey, like, let's go ahead and just get this wedding started. And Sienna's all like, but Andre, like, my parents and Robin aren't here yet. Like, I want to make sure that, they get here and to see us get married. I don't want to miss that. And he's like, I know, but like, there's, gonna be a whole lot going on at this wedding. There's the reception afterwards. They'll get to be here for that. So, why don't we just go ahead and get married now? And I'm sure they'll show up. She's like, are you sure? Because, I don't see them anywhere. My mom helped me get ready, and, I want them to be here. And like, Andre's like, Sienna, like, are you here for your parents? Or, oh God, like, really, Henrique. Like, you are in the way. But as you can see from Andre's face, he's a little bit irritated. He's like, Sienna, are you here at this wedding for your parents or for me? Because last time I checked, we're the ones getting married. Your parents are not the ones getting married. And like, Sienna's like, Andre, like, obviously I'm here to get married to you, but my parents are important to me. I want them to see this. Like, I'm only going to get married once. Like, you really want me to just get married to you and have my parents not be here? And Andre's like, look, if the press get here and start snapping photos, we need to be ready to be on for that. So, whether your parents are here or not, at this point they're late. So, like, if they miss it, they miss it. But this is for us. We're getting married. So let's get the show on the road. So Sienna's feeling a little bit like reluctant. She's like, I mean, if you say so, I guess that's true. I guess we'll just go ahead and get married then. So they're getting, Sienna's going to the bathroom. She needs to pee real quick, but they're getting ready for the ceremony to start. And I just want to zoom in, because Sienna did invite Julian and his whole family to the wedding. And at first, like, Julian didn't know what was going on. He's like, like, what wedding? Like, who's getting married? And he wasn't quite sure what was going on, but his family had the invite, so he came, and then he gets here and he sees Sienna with Andre, like, in a wedding dress, and him and, a suit, and he's all like, Sienna's getting married to Andre, the guy that she said was her boyfriend, but they, had a rough patch at prom, and she said she was going to break up with him, like, what's going on? And then he sees that Sienna has a pregnant belly, and he's like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? And he's really confused, and as you can see with his teary eyes, he's really upset, because he's all like, she said that she was going to break up with him. And just in case, like, because I know the last time you guys saw Julian, he was still a teen and he didn't look quite like this. I did give him a young adult makeover. He's got some facial hair now. This is what he looks like now, you guys. His hair is a bit different. This is Julian, though. Anyway, He's all like, oh my gosh, like, Sienna is pregnant now. Like, that's crazy. But it's also have his mind going, thinking, like, well, she's getting married to the guy that she was dating. Even though she said she was going to break up with him. I don't know what transpired, but she's pregnant. And he's remembering that they woohooed on prom night. So he's like, well, I mean, is she pregnant with his child or is she pregnant with my child? Because, you know, doing the math, it's all like, that child could be mine. So is she getting married to another guy while she could be pregnant with my kid? Like, what is going on? So now that that Sienna is out of the bathroom, Andre comes and finds me. He's like, are you ready? Because, you know, the cameras they're pretty much here. Like, let's get this show on the road. And Sienna's like, okay, Andre, I'm ready. Let's go. Like, Andre looks like so peeved. He's all like, let's just get this thing over with. The sooner that we get married and get this all over and done with, I can go ahead and we can get on the campaign trail and I can get my political career on the road too. So the ceremony is getting started. As you can see, I don't know where the rest of Sienna's family is, but it looks like Glade did in fact make it to the party. So he's over here talking with Knox and Frederick. I think he's still kind of feeling disappointed and just like, I don't know, like, I'm here for my daughter, but, like, this dude that she's marrying, I don't know how I feel about it. But Glade did come, and oh, that's so cute. It looks like Ava and Frederick are dancing out here. Oh, they're adorable. We love to see it, but Sienna's over here getting married, and it looks like the guests are taking their good old time getting ready, but she's like, I guess it's time, and like, Andre still has, look at his face. Oh my gosh, look at his face. He's like, okay, let's do this. Let's not waste time. Chop, chop. Like, Andre's just being kind of the worst right now. So, Sienna is trying to get into it. She's like, yeah, let's do this thing, I guess. And as she's doing it, she sees how quickly Andre's face kind of just, like, changes from being annoyed to, yes, let's, we're getting married. And she's all like, is he doing this because he loves me, or did he notice that the camera people are here and he's just putting on a show? And she's like, she's just having all the thoughts that she was having before rushing back. What she talked to her mother about at breakfast is rushing back, and she's like, oh, look at Darling. Oh, Darling, they're so cute. Look at Darling. We love her. We love them. But anyway, she's like, all the thoughts from that are rushing back, and what just comes rushing back to the forefront of her head is when Nora told her, like, honey, you have options, you still have options. If this isn't 150% what you want to do, then don't marry that man, is echoing through her head. And she's like, I think my mom is right. I don't think I should be marrying this man. Like, I feel if I marry this man, it'll be the biggest mistake in my life, and I don't want to put all my plans I had for my career on the back burner. Like, me helping him become national leader of the world is not my dream. That's his dream, and I don't want to give up my dream for him to further his goals. Like, I got into uni, I got all my scholarships, I may be having a baby, but mom said that her and dad would help with that, so if I still wanted to go, and I still kind of want to. I still want to go. So she's like, and I don't see myself being able to do any of that stuff if I marry this man who I'm pretty sure is just marrying me so that he can use me and this child to further his own career. So I'm not going to marry this man. So she's going to go ahead and she's going to call this marriage, there's a wedding off. She's not for it. She's not about it. So we're going to go ahead and have Miss Sienna do it. She's calling off the wedding. She's all like, Andre, you're sweet, but this is not what I want. Go ahead, man. What you doing? Call off the marriage. Is she not doing this? Come on. Call off the wedding. And he's all like, Sienna, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you continuing with the vows? And Sienna's all like, Andre, I like really thought about this, and I don't actually want to marry you. Like, I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, she feels like kind of bad about it too. She's all like, I don't want to do this, Andre. Like, I really thought about it, and I talked it over with my mom, and like, she told me if I don't feel 150% for this whole thing, then I just, like, I shouldn't do it. And I can't do this. Like, I care about you, Andre. Like, you're so handsome, and like, you've made me feel so great and whatnot, but this isn't what I want. I want to be a politician, and if marrying you means I have to throw my dreams away on that, then I can't marry you. And Andre's all like, Sienna, like, what are you talking about? Like, how can you do this to me? Like, there are cameras here. The press is going to catch wind of this, and like, this is going to look bad for me now. And Sienna's like, well, you know what, Andre, that sounds like a you problem. But to me, like, this feels like the giantess weight off of my shoulder now, that I know that I can still pursue my dreams. And, you know, if you still want to be with me and be with this baby and do like the whole family thing, sure, we can still do it. But I don't want to throw my dreams away. And Andre's like, well, look, I'm not interested in playing house with you and this baby. Like, I have goals right now. And this whole wedding was supposed to fit into that wheelhouse of me pursuing my goals. And you saying you don't want to marry me now, like, I don't even know where to go with this right now, Sienna. How's this going to look now? I got a girl fresh out of high school pregnant. Like, you've ruined my life right now. And Sienna's like, well, you know what, Andre? Like, you forcing me to do this whole thing when I didn't want to is ruining my life, or almost did. So, you know, if that's how you feel, then bye. I don't need you. So Sienna feels so much better now. She's like, look, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to college and get my degree and fast track my way through a politics career. And I'm going to be the national leader. And I don't really care if Andre's not for that right now. Like, Andre's clearly obviously not the guy. Andre was obviously a mistake. And I might be pregnant with his child, but maybe I'm not. Maybe this baby doesn't belong to him. Maybe it's Julian's. And if it is, like, even better. Like, but I'm going to pursue my goals right now. So Sienna feels so good right now. Look at her. Like, calling off the wedding is like the best thing that ever happened to her. Look at her. Andre now has like a bad sentiment of her for this, and girl still has a relieved look on her face. She's all like, oh well, I still get what I want. So this Sienna, she should have the buff now. Yep, dodged a bullet from getting cold feet. Just narrowly avoided a very serious relationship. And I think that's the only buff she has from this. But anyway, now that she is, oh, and look, this is perfect. So just as she calls off the wedding, look at Julian over here looking at his girl thinking, oh my gosh, she actually didn't go through with it. Like, and he's looking at her like, feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad she didn't go through with it. Maybe she really kind of thought about what we talked about on prom night, and she knew that dude wasn't good for her. And he's giving her the eye, and Sienna's noticing it, so she's gonna go over and talk to him and just like tell him what's up. So Julian approaches Sienna, and as you can see, Andre is still pissed, and he's all like looking at him like, what are you doing here? Like, what the heck? Like, I just got left the altar, and like now you're moving in on my ex-fiance. Like, what the heck? And Julian is just ignoring him. He's like, Sienna, like, what's going on? I noticed right away when I got here that you're pregnant, and you know, considering what happened on prom night, I have to ask the question, like, if this child is mine. And she first just wants to give him a hug and be all like, Julian, I'm so glad you're here. It's such a relief I didn't get married to Andre. And he's like, yeah, it is, but at the same time, like, you didn't answer my question. Whose child are you carrying? And she's all like, Julian, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, and at this point I have nothing but to be, like, honest with you right now, but honestly, like, I don't know. She's all like, the truth is, when I woohooed with you on prom night, I wanted that to have been my first time, but it wasn't. I had woohoo with Andre the night before, and the fact of the matter is, this child could be Andre's or it could be yours. So Julian is just really confused and has nowhere else to go with that. And he's like, wow, like, I didn't. And look at Nora. Look at Nora. She's looking over at her kid thinking like, you know, I don't know what she's talking about with the Tinker's son, but at the same time, I am so proud of her that she did not marry that man. Like, now she can actually do the things that she wanted to achieve. And of course, her dad and I will help with the baby, but I'm just glad she's not saddled with this marriage that she just wasn't for. So, oh, look at Nora being so proud of her baby girl. But meanwhile, back in this conversation, Julian's all like, I don't know how to feel about this, Sienna. All I can say is that you know that I've loved you like pretty much my entire life. You've always been the girl of my dreams, and at the end of the day, like, I don't regret having my first time with you, although it kind of sucks that you lied to me about it being yours too. But that aside, like, if this child is mine, I want to be in the child's life. And Cena's like, well, I mean, after the baby comes, even though, you know, things are kind of weird right now, would you want to go with me to get this paternity test? And Julian's like, of course I would, but like I said, and all, Julian's got tears in his eyes. He's all like I said, if this child is mine, I want to be in the child's life. I don't know how I feel about you and me right now, so like I can't say that I would want to marry you or anything, but I think I just need time to like think through everything, especially if this kid is mine. And she's like, of course, I mean, at this point, I just left someone at the altar, so I'm not really jonesing to get married to anybody anytime soon. I don't expect you to want to marry me just because we have a kid together. I have dreams and things I want to achieve, and I honestly want to put that first. I don't know what I was thinking by backburnering that stuff to try and fake this whole family thing, but honestly, my career is the most important thing to me right now, and I'm not gonna make any sacrifices for it. And he's like, I get that, but you know, I'll go with you and we'll just do the first step of this paternity test, and if the child's mine, we'll go from there. And Sienna's like, of course, we'll do that. So they kind of have a resolution, but the party's over. But is it really? Is it really? Because this whole party kind of put a spark in young Knox's eyes. So I know this is a weird segue, you guys, because if you just have been watching Not So Berry Rose Gen, you probably haven't really seen a whole lot of Knox. However, if you watch Not So Berry Mid Gen, you probably have. And there was a whole drama and saga during Mid Gen about Knox and Aaliyah. Knox and Aaliyah are Glade's friends, and there was like a weird romantic well, I mean, I don't even think it was a triangle. The whole thing was just messy, and if you guys want to know the whole tea of that, then I'd say go ahead and go back and watch Mid-Gen. But all I know is that at the end of finale, Aaliyah over here got married to the father of her two youngest kids, who are right here. Well, this is one of them, Mary. I don't know where the other one is, but they're twins. And she got married to their father. What's his name? Corey? Something. Anyway, she got married to him, and things kind of like fell apart between her and Knox. Knox is the father of her oldest son, Teddy. Where is Teddy? This is Teddy. Knox is the father of her oldest son, Teddy. That's Teddy. Teddy has grown up quite well. Look at him. He's cute. But anyway, things fell apart with Knox, but they kind of ended in a good place with the two of them to, you know, be friends and co-parent. And ever since then, Knox never really moved on and met anybody and got married or anything. But, you know, things fell apart between Aaliyah and her husband, Corey, because if you guys remember from mid-finale, Corey was a little bit of a scoundrel. He was over there flirting with other people, even though he just got married to Aaliyah. And that's just never stopped. And Aaliyah got tired of him being a philanderer, and they honestly got divorced not too long ago. When Knox heard about that, you know, well, she kind of went over to Knox's to like cry about it, and when that happened, they kind of like rekindled things. So them being at this wedding, Knox is all like, you know, I'm feeling like I'm not getting any younger. I've never stopped loving Aaliyah, and we're already at this wedding, and this wedding that we're at just got called off, so I kind of want to go ahead and propose to her. So Knox is all like, Aaliyah, like, we're at this beautiful wedding, and the wedding didn't happen, and, you know, we've, you know, stayed in good contact this whole time. You got divorced to your husband, but honestly, I never stopped loving you. And, you know, I'm not getting any younger, and I want to spend the rest of the days I have left with you as my wife. So will you marry me? And Aaliyah is so shocked. She's all like, Knox, are you for real? You want to marry me? Like, oh my gosh, we just connected. And Knox is all like, yes, we just connected, but we have a child together, and I promise to love your daughters just as if they were my own. So, will you marry me?" And so, let's see what Aaliyah says. Let's see, she'll do it. She's like, yes, I will marry you. I'll marry you. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, great. Well, since we're at this beautiful venue, do you want to right now?" And she's like, "Yes, of course. Let's do this." Oh, they're so cute. Noxie and Aaliyah are getting married. We love to see it. So cute. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get them. Let's get them married. This is a surprise I was hinting at you guys at the end of last episode. Obviously, y'all knew that Rose Jen had to leave her, first dude at the aisle or at the altar, and there wasn't going to be a wedding. But the big surprise is that actually there was going to be a wedding the entire time, and this was the wedding that I was planning. So Nox and Aaliyah are getting married, and this actually feels so fitting because I feel like this is like the perfect cherry on top for the end of Minjin. Oh, look at Glade and Julian talking. I mean, nobody sat for their wedding, but okay. But oh, they're so cute. I love that they're getting married. This is so perfect for them. Oh, and look, their son Teddy, he went and he stood by the little altar thing to watch his parents get married. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe my parents are actually getting married." He's like a young adult now, so I guess it doesn't mean as much to him now, but he's married. And Nox is like, this is like the ultimate vindication from the time that Nox thought that I was like in love with the mother of his children, and now they're getting married. So hopefully that means that y'all forgive me for whatever you thought I did that I didn't do. This is taking forever for them to get married. Can y'all come on? Yeah, I feel the same way, Glade. Is this wedding ever going to end? So we're actually going to end things here. The wedding is being a lot bit glitchy, so if I had to start the ceremony for Nox and Aaliyah over again because the whole thing just was moving very, very slow, and then it just stopped and they were still not married. So don't know what's going on there. Worst case scenario, I'll just marry them in Kaz. We got what we needed from that for story purposes. We're good there. But we're going to end things here. You guys, what did you think of Sienna's not wedding? And what do you think of the fact that Aaliyah and Nox got married instead? For new viewers, it may not really make any sense or mean anything, but if you've been with me on this not so buried journey since the first gen, then does it not feel like the most perfect ending for those two? Let me know your thoughts about this whole shebang in the comment section down below. Next episode, we will be joining Sienna in her uni days, and I think by that episode I will already have her just give birth to the toddler. It's very messy to try and have your sim give birth to a baby when they're in uni housing, which Sienna's going to be in uni housing, spoiler alert. So I'm just going to go ahead and have her give birth to the baby before she starts school. So next episode, baby will be born, she'll be in school. We'll start from there. But as always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay dazzled. I will see you in the next one. Bye.